guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite Christmas and holiday books. This was a somewhat hard list to make. I try to read Christmas books pretty much November through December, so I have read quite a few over the years of every single age range, of a variety of different styles, and these are the ones that I feel like I constantly want to reread. They're the ones I recommend the most, and the ones that give me like the true spirit of the holidays, whether that just be warmth or comfort, coziness, romance, all the good feelings that we kind of aim for this time of year. I am leaving off some of the true holiday classics because those are always at the top of my list, like Christmas Carol, Nutcracker, The Grinch, the true classic reads. Those of course would belong on this list as well, but you guys pretty much already know about those. I'm going to share with you the other top 10 that I recommend that you may not have heard of. So we're not going to go in order of least favorite to favorite because I'm going to go in order of age genre, but I will point out the ones that I have a little bit higher up on this list. Okay, first up I have two kids books for you. The first one being The Holly and the Ivy. So this is a classic little picture book. This is something that I read when I was a kid. I had a big obsession with toys coming to life, probably because of Toy Story. There were a lot of different books and movies that had that element, and I just gobbled all of them up. I in particularly loved Holly and the Ivy. This book is so freaking cute and charming and adorable, and I love it so much. And it also had like a little made-for-TV movie. It was like 40 minutes long. I don't remember where it aired or if you can find it. If I can find a link for it, I will link it down below because it's really old. But it was so good and it matched the book perfectly. So this is about a little girl named Ivy who has lived at St. Agnes's orphanage for the past 6 years. All she wants is a home for the holidays, and she is sure there is a grandmother out there waiting for her, perhaps in a town called Appleton. So she sets off on her own to go and find her, and she wishes very hard. Then we have Holly, who is a doll left alone on Christmas Eve in a store shop window, who needs a child's hands, and she too makes a wish. In the town of Appleton lives a lonely couple who have a Christmas tree, a holiday feast, and no one to share it with. And this is about their story. It is so cute. It has the sweetest illustrations in here. It's such a beautiful, lovely Christmas story. Even if you don't have kids, or even if you don't think that you like kids books, this is just written so well and it's just so incredibly charming. I would still recommend that you pick it up. I feel like it will totally warm your heart. Okay, next I'm going to kind of lump these all together. These are all part of different series, and I have bind-ups of them, but they're all like behind my shelves because I was not planning on sharing them with you. That is the American Girl Christmas Stories. I played with American Girl dolls when I was a kid, and part of the reason I love them so much is they had the best books. So these are just like little tiny chapter books. The one in particular that I'm thinking about is Samantha's Surprise. The third book in every series is a Christmas story, and these are so good, you guys. They're just such great stories. You don't have to read the first books if you don't want to, but it does kind of let you know how the characters get to the journey. I feel like adults still can enjoy these. I reread them as an adult to my sister when she was little, and I still enjoyed them just as much. I feel like with children's books and middle grade books, there are books that are just great stories where the characters are younger, and then there are books that are written specifically for that age group that may have a little bit more silliness to them and may not appeal as much to adults. The ones I'm recommending, of course, are just really good stories. We have Samantha's Surprise. This is set like in the Victorian era. We have Kirsten's Surprise. She is like a Swedish immigrant living in America for the first time, but we learn a lot of really neat Swedish traditions in here. We have Addie's Surprise. This is set during like the Civil War time, and this is such a precious story. This is one of my favorite ones. We have Molly's Surprise. This is set during World War II. She's kind of waiting for her dad to come home, and they're all just really heartwarming, sweet, and historically centered books. There's a bunch more, and there's probably new ones that I don't even know about, but they're really great. Again, even if you don't have a kid and you're just wanting to feel like all the holiday feels, I feel like these are so good. I wish they had little audiobooks because they're extremely short, like 60-page chapter books. The illustrations are really fun. They used to have matching dolls and even little toys and things that you could find that were in the book. Like each girl, of course, gets like a doll for Christmas, a different kind of doll. I love all of them so much. There isn't a single one that I didn't like, and I highly recommend you check them out for the holiday season. All right, next is Miracle on 34th Street by Valentine Davies. At first I thought this was also like a chapter book, but I would consider this an adult story, like in a short story. It does have a little bit more of a mature element to it because they talk about divorce and different things. So this was written at the same time that the original movie came out. I'm not sure what year. I grew up on the newer movie that came out in the 90s and I love it. Follows the movie perfectly because they came out, the book and the script, together. So I didn't know that this was a book, so I really enjoyed it. I liked the pictures and everything. I mean, this might be considered a kid's book. It just was slightly more mature than I expected. Could be because it's older. Nothing inappropriate. It's just a little bit more lengthy too. If you don't know about Miracle on 34th Street, this is like one of my top favorite movies ever. This is set at a bustling New York City, and basically we're following this Macy's department store. In the movie, I think they changed the name to Kohl's, and something happens to their Santa Claus during the Thanksgiving Day parade, and this mysterious magical Kris Kringle has to take the place and become kind of an unconventional Santa Claus for this company, but he secretly really is Santa Claus, and he really like makes the store thrive and does all these really sweet magical things. And then some hardships come into play and the other companies kind of try to attack him, and then there's this whole beautiful adorable plot. There's also a side plot where one of the like directors of the Macy's parade and also like one of the big store managers is the one that hired him, and her little girl was taught to not believe in Santa Claus. I think she's like 5 or 6, but once she meets Chris, she's very torn because he's so magical and he seems so real. So she asks him for a Christmas wish to see if he's the real thing. Get your tissues ready, especially for the movie. Such a sweet, adorable story. Top favorite movie in my top 10 for sure. Just an adorable one. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the young adult books. I love a good young adult Christmas book, and there really are not as many as you would think. There seem to be more coming out every year, but a few years ago you could only find a very small handful of specifically young adult holiday books, but these are like my top favorite that I have read so far. So we have The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This book is so good. I love Cynthia Hand's writing style, and this is just so magical and delightful and unique. On Christmas Eve, Holly was visited 5 years ago by 3 ghosts who showed her how selfish and spoiled she'd become. They tried to convince her to change her ways. She didn't, and then she died. Now she is stuck working for the top secret Project Scrooge as the latest ghost of Christmas past. Every year they save another Christmas grouch, and every year Holly stays frozen at 17 while her friends and family go on living without her. So far, Holly's afterlife has been miserable, but this year everything is about to change. So this, of course, is a Christmas Carol retelling, and it is so good. It is magical, it is cheesy, it is silly. Holly is obnoxious at first and unlikable, but then there are so many wonderful things that happen in here, and the ending of this is so heartwarming and unexpected. This is a top favorite for me. It's one that I would love to read every year if I had time. I would love to see this as a movie. It would be absolutely phenomenal and just perfect for holidays. 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. This is so cute, and this has a trope that I love. I don't read a lot of contemporary books, but I read holiday contemporary books, and I love this particular trope for contemporary, and that is having to go on like multiple dates or blind dates, speed dating, or something with like lots of different people. I just find it so fun and interesting because you meet a lot of different characters. So Sophie wants a Christmas kind of separated from her overprotective parents, and she decides to spend her Christmas with her very pregnant sister. She's looking for some much needed private makeout time with her boyfriend Griffin, but then she finds out Griffin wanted a little freedom of his own and he breaks up with her. Heartbroken, she flees to her grandparents' house where the rest of her boisterous family is gathered for the holidays. That's when Nana devises a not so brilliant plan. Over the next 10 days, Sophie will be set up on 10 blind dates by a different family member. This is a loud, adorable, obnoxious family type of book. Lots of holiday vibes. Every family member sets her up on a different blind date, and it has a different theme, and they're all like silly and outrageous, and she doesn't want to do them, but she does them all. It's so fun. But again, this one has such a heartwarming ending and a really sweet message to it as well, and I just adore it. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I think this is the first young adult Christmas book that I ever read, and so I have an extra special warm place for it in my heart. This one is also set in New York. Such a great setting for Christmas time. So we're following Lily, who is Christmas obsessed. She's struggling a little bit because her family is gone for the holidays, but she loves the holidays so much she's determined to keep her Christmas joy. And we're following Dash, who's a bit of a humbug Scrooge type character. His parents are also gone for the holidays. He doesn't really like them. He finds them annoying. Then he finds a book at this huge bookstore in New York that is a journal, and it has a dare on it. And so he does the dare and then writes in his own and puts it back where he found it. And basically these two characters are interacting with each other without interacting with each other, and they're doing these different dares. Lily's are all themed around the holidays, and Dash's are trying to kind of avoid that, and they basically start to fall in love. This is such a cute young adult read. It has stuff to do with family as well. Very Christmassy, very festive, very sweet, and it's such a good one. This is the start of the series. This is my favorite of the series, but I really enjoyed the third one as well, and I have all of them. Also, this has an amazing show on Netflix. They did such a good job. It doesn't follow it perfectly, but it lines up pretty good, and I recommend both of them. Next, we have My True Love Gave to Me. This is 12 holiday stories by 12 young adult authors, edited by Stephanie Perkins. I'm a little snarky about this one because I love this one so much. I think it might be my favorite anthology, and I read the summer version of this one, also edited by Stephanie Perkins, and I really didn't like it. Like, I almost hated it, and I've read a few other anthologies this year that have not gone well, and this one just went so well that I'm sad that I haven't found another one. But I love this one so much. So we have wonderful authors in here like Holly Black, Allie Carter, Gail Forman, Jenny Han, Stephanie Perkins, Rainbow Rowell, Laini Taylor, like such fun, like classic YA authors. And every story is very, very different. Like Holly Black's has to do with Krampus and it's a little bit darker. Jenny Han's is really silly and cute. I think our main character is one of Santa's elves. There's like contemporary stories in here. There's fantasy stories in here. There's a retelling of the Snow Queen. There's one about Santa's daughter. There's one where a country music star falls in love with a small town boy. Like, I think I loved all of them, and I almost reread this every year, or I like pick and choose to read certain stories from it every year. This I feel like is an absolute must for the holidays. My friend actually sent me a special edition of this book, and I'm so sad because I do not know where I put it. I haven't gotten all my Christmas stuff out yet, so I'll have to go and find it, but I just love this one so much. It's almost my top pick for the holidays. All the stories are so good and they just really stick with you. And then lastly, I have a couple of adult books to share with you. So this is new to the list and just barely made the cut. From last year, that is The Santa Suit from Mary Kay Andrews. I think this might have been my first Mary Kay Andrews book. This is a short little Christmas story, and I knew it was going to be cheesy and cozy, but I wasn't expecting to really love it as much as I did. Sometimes the cozy ones don't work for me, sometimes they do. In this one, Ivy Perkins buys an old farmhouse sight unseen because she's ready for a change in her life. The farmhouse is called the Four Roses and is a labor of love, maybe a little bit more labor than she bargained for. The previous owners left so much junk, it is a full-time job sorting through everything. But when she finds an old antique Santa suit that is intricately designed and has a note in the pocket from a girl wishing for her father to come home from war, Ivy sets off on a mission to find out if the dad ever came home, who owned the Santa suit, who was this little girl. And in this story, she gets to know the townsfolk. It's got that small town cozy vibe. There's a little romance in here. There's a lot of Christmassy elements as well. It's really, really sweet and charming, and I just really loved it. I loved her fixing up the farmhouse, getting to know new friends, kind of like a found family situation. I highly recommend this one for the holidays. Okay, these last two are definitely in like my top 5. We have The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. This is so cute, you guys. Okay, so this is an adult cozy romance, no spice, and again we have the trope of the multiple dates situation. We have 34-year-old Kate who is ready to say bah humbug to relationships. The sleepy town of Blexford, England isn't brimming with prospects anyway. Kate has found fulfillment in her career as a designer and in her delicious side job of baking for her friend Matt's neighborhood cafe. But when her best friends set her up with a dating agency that promises to help singles find love for the holidays, with only 23 days till Christmas, she's got 12 dates with 12 different men. The odds might finally be in her favor, right? This is so cute. It has a lot of baking. I believe this is set in England, and there's a lot of baking, and her best friend Matt is really fun. All these different dates are so fun and cute. There's like a gingerbread decorating date. There's like a concert I think that she goes to. They all have different themes, which we know I love a theme. It's just so sweet. It has a really fabulous ending, a really sweet romance in here. Such a good cozy winter read as well. Lastly, but not least, Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. I need to read more from Sarah Hogle because this one just blew me away. So again, we have an adult romance, no spice. This is cute, funny, charming, adorable, magical, cheesy goodness. Betty Hughes, who once knew the life of luxury, flaunting a collection of designer purses and an enviable home in Hawaii. That was before she lost all of her money. Long obsessed with her public image, Betty boasts a lavish lifestyle on her social media. But in reality, Betty is broke and squatting in Colorado, and her family has no idea. Christmas, with its pressure to meet familial expectations, is looming, and when Betty plays a vinyl record of All I Want for Christmas Is You backward and accidentally conjures up Hall, the holiday spirit, in the form of a charming, handsome, if offbeat man. Once the shock wears off, Betty realizes that she's found a ready-made fiance, but she's thrown off kilter by Hall's sweet nature. So basically, she decides that with this magical man appearing in her living room, that she is going to take him home for Christmas and pretend he is her fiance. He is there to make her happy, have a good Christmas, and present her with wishes. So he has a little bit of magical powers, and she's very, very obnoxious, very vain. She's very self-centered. She's very unlikable, but in a charming way and with purpose. And basically she's learning some lessons throughout the book. Hall is like kind of like an elf type character. Like, he shows up in her living room and she's like screaming, and he's like, "Hello, I am Hall. I am the holiday spirit. Why are you yelling?" Like, it's really silly, cheesy, over the top, adorable goodness. Just like the movies that we all like to watch, but also like has some meat to it and has a really sweet ending. So I loved this one. It made my top 10 favorite books of the year like 2 years ago. And again, I can't recommend it enough. Please read it. Okay, you guys, so those are my top favorite books for the Christmas holiday season. Let me know if you enjoy this kind of video. Let me know if you read any of these books down below in the comments. Let me know if you plan to add any of them to your winter TBR. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at The Bright Side Girl for more bookish and holiday fun. And I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.